Hi Jamie, how was your weekend? I know you had family here from out of town. Excited to hear about your weekend.
It's very good. My nephew came from Arkansas, and my daughter and her new husband came from Albany. It was nice. Nice family time.
That's awesome. I'm gonna see you tomorrow for second period, right?
Yep.
Okay. What do you hope your students will learn in this lesson?
Well, I'm hoping they understand the slope formula and how to use the slope formula, and graph using slope and line intercept. Given 2 points, find the equation of the line, or given a graph, give me the equation of the line. So it's kind of a mixed bag, but mainly it's dealing with the slope formula and how it evolves in all different situations.
Nice. To which standards is this lesson lined?
The Common Core Algebra standard of graphing linear equations and being able to create a linear equation from a graph, points, or if they have the slope given and the y-intercept given.
How are the ELA standards for technical subjects aligned to this lesson?
Let's see. The main thing is they're going to be able to read and comprehend, so they have to know the vocab. So I'm going to go over all the vocabulary with them first to make sure they understand the vocab. And if they need, for their IEPs, if they need accommodations for that, I will give them some note cards or the way to remember things better, so it accommodates their learning in the classroom.
You're always so good with the IEP kids, giving them all their accommodations. Where in the unit of study is this lesson located?
It's Unit 6, so we're about maybe halfway through the course, because we gotta give time for the regents, so we're about halfway.
How do you want the students to engage emotionally in this lesson?
Well, I want them to feel that they can ask any questions without being embarrassed or afraid, and I will answer any questions for the lesson, or even if they have a question about something else that's relevant to what's going on.
What instructional strategies will I see you using? What are your teacher strategies?
Well, I'm first gonna model a problem, and then I'm gonna give them a chance to copy what I just did by doing another problem on their own. And then I'll have the students volunteer to come up and do parts of it, so one student doesn't have to do the whole problem if they don't feel comfortable. So they'll share, and we'll pass the smartboard marker to the next student. Instead of me calling on one, I'll have a peer pick another student to go up to the board.
You just said a little bit about what you'll see the students doing. What else will the students be doing during the lesson?
Let's see. They'll be practicing the problems, and maybe even peer, one-on-one, like shoulder partner or winter partners, just something to get them up and moving and being able to help each other, because some kids are stronger in certain areas than others, so I'll pair them up with a student that's weaker in their strong area so they can help each other through the lesson. I can't get to everybody in the 40-minute time frame, so it's nice to use the kids that are there to help each other.
Absolutely. They learn more when they teach each other too.
Yes,
so that's
and they
perfect.
remember it more.
Mhm. What are your indicators that you're going to be using for student engagement in this lesson?
Let's see, indicators. My main thing is I look at their faces to see whether or not they understand what's going on. See that light bulb turn on. The other indicators is if their head goes down and they're frustrated, and you have some very quiet students that won't engage at all. So my indicators are always to walk over and check on them individually without embarrassing them or calling them out on anything. So I just keep my radar out and my eyes tuned to each kid just to see where they are located. Because it is a very quiet class and they don't like to volunteer very much, so I keep that in mind when they're doing it.
You talked a little bit about having IEP students. How are you differentiating to meet the needs of all the students in the class?
Well, one way is I might lower their problems that they have to do, cause it takes them longer to process. So if I have the whole class do 5, I might say, okay, you do question 3 and question 4, and I'll come around and see how you're doing. Just to make them not overwhelmed by doing the same amount. But I do it silently, so the whole class is like, well, why do they have less, not yet, this. So, nobody knows who has what in the classroom, so I kinda keep it private that way.
How will you know if the students are getting the learning? What will you do to check for understanding?
Have an exit ticket, and just have them put an answer on an index card, and they put it in the box as they walk out, or leave it on their desk. And it's just a simple question. It might say, slope is this, y-intercepts this, write the equation of a line. Or, what is the formula for slope or rate of change? What is the equation of a line? Just something simple, see if they understood the vocabulary of the day.
What will you do if they're not learning?
Then I start the day, and the first day, when they first walk in, going over something that I noticed that a lot of kids didn't understand. And I put it up, and that's the starter, and that way, we start going over something from yesterday that I saw the kids didn't quite grasp, before I go on and build on that. I gotta make sure we have that building block done first.
Definitely. It's very important.
Mm-hmm.
What is the summative assessment this lesson is aligned to?
Ooh, let's see. I think that one would be graphing equations and understanding functions given in the form of graphs, slope, or points.
How will I see your culturally responsive instructional and behavioral support practices within the lesson?
Well, you'll see me walking around a lot. I do not stand at the board. I'm engaging with, I try to engage at least with each student in the classroom. And I like to have, not just math with them, but conversations so they can feel open and feel that they're welcomed in the classroom. So I'm very respectful if they're having an off day, not to push. Because some of them need that time just to decompress, something happened the block before or in the hallway and they need that time. So I'm very in tune to see what's the class like before I start.
Absolutely, relationships are key.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the students in this class.
It's a quiet class. It's like hearing crickets some days. But they love to know that they have it correct. So when they get one done, they're right there to either looking at you or their hand is raised and you come over and yes, you did it right. And they're like, really? Yes, you did it right. Keep going. And then that boost of confidence is amazing. Just one question and they can fly through it, but they need that boost to go on. A lot of them haven't had that confidence for the last couple of years for work independently, so just that one little pat on the back kind of thing, even stickers, it's like, or candy, anything, just to boost up their courage that, you're okay, keep going.
Yes, definitely. How many IEP or 504 students are in?
In that class, that's second period, correct?
Yeah.
I wanna say 5 are in that one. A couple of them leave for other things and then a few stay in the classroom.
How many students total are in there?
It is fun. Oh, how many show up or how many? 18.
Perfect. Are there any other adults in this class?
There's two other adults. One is a special ed and one's the co-teacher in the classroom. And we're all bouncing from kid to kid. Special ed teacher even helps out the non-special ed kids. It's amazing that the kids treat us all as equals and don't look at one teacher superior to the other teacher. So it's nice that they feel comfortable with everybody in the classroom.
You don't always see that when you have
No.
co-teachers.
No.
So that's very, very good to hear. Are there any district initiatives embedded in this unit or lesson? And if so, where and how?
Not that I'm aware of in this particular lesson, no.
Is there any data you'd like me to collect while I'm in your classroom?
Whether or not, okay, one is cell phone usage. It's hard with the class being so large to keep that in check. But the other one is, do I favor one side to the other? Being a lefty, it's tough. So sometimes I favor one side of the classroom because my back is to the other side of the classroom. So I wanna make sure I'm equally looking at both sides and not ignoring one side to the other side. And not calling on the same person all the time, because they are such a quiet class. And you always kinda go to your go-tos because it's like nobody else wants to volunteer.
Absolutely, for sure. Should I see anything else in the classroom that I find helpful? Is it okay if I collect that as well?
Oh, yes, definitely, cause that'll help me.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to this conference?
I think we're good. Oh, I guess the other thing is make sure I, give positive feedback when needed in the classroom. So, make sure I do that. Cause sometimes I forget to say, have a good day, or you're doing great, keep going. Just to kinda keep them motivated and feel comfortable. Cause a lot of kids hate math.
Yes.
So I'm trying to boost their love for math.
That's important too.
Yes.
Is it okay if, when you're teaching, if I walk around the room and see what the kids are doing and how
Oh,
they're
yes.
working?
Yep. And I'll let them know that you're just here to watch, and if they have questions, they can ask anybody in the room.
Okay. Well, I thank you so much for your time. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, second
Yep.
period. And then we'll make a time to meet for the post-conference
Okay.
after that.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.